Do you know how to Korea?
How to Korea?
How to Korea?
How to Korea?
Out of Korea.
How to Korea? This is How to Korea.
Alright, welcome to another episode of How to Korea. We're on episode 12 currently. I'm James, this is Ian, and we're getting more comfortable with the intros now. We know what to say, somewhat.
We've done it 12 times, so...
Yeah.
Well, actually...
more than that. Yeah.
More considering the first episode we did 5 times.
Yeah, more than 5 times. We're up to 114 followers on YouTube. Subscribers, rather.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. We got a few comments that I want to address. So... Mo left a comment on episode 8. I think that's the episode we were talking about the Korean pancakes.
Yeah, the John.
Yeah, the John. And he said, you were asking about the green stuff on there. And he says, maybe it was 깻잎. And 깻잎 is sesame leaves.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like the spade.
Yeah.
When you look at the cards. Yeah, it looks exactly like that. Except it's just green. And it's got a unique taste.
Very unique.
Yeah.
Also, I've cooked with it before when I made the haejanguk in the gamjatang.
Yeah.
And you roll it up and you slice it up into little slices. But then you get the powder. It's called...
the seeds?
Yeah, the seeds, but they crush into powder.
Yeah.
So when you make your gamjatang, you also put some of that in.
Yeah.
And it makes your broth a little bit thicker as
I
well.
think we just call that 깨소금. 깨 is like sesame.
Yeah.
And then 소금 means salt. So I think it's because they grind it down so fine that it looks like salt.
Called something else.
It might not be that then. It might be something else.
But anyway, yeah.
Oh.
That.
No.
And
So
it's got a very unique taste to it.
Oh, yeah. But once you kind of get accustomed to it,
Yeah.
not bad.
Don't salt it too much though.
No, it's good with meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put the meat on there with some vegetables and you wrap it up and you eat it. It's good.
I don't like that.
Of course you don't.
Of course I don't do the
of
leafy
course you
things.
don't.
When I go to a barbecue place as well, I'll maybe eat with the leaves 1 or 2 and then that's it.
Not
What I
even
don't
the-
enjoy about it is that my mouth is too fucking small compared to... I've seen Koreans shove a mountain of that shit in their mouth and they just chew it and get it done.
That's the point.
Yes, I can't do that.
What about not even the lettuce?
I'll sometimes do the lettuce once
Yeah.
or twice, but I'm not going to sit there the whole time and just eat lettuce. Because like I said, it's uncomfortable for me to shove that whole thing in my mouth. And
That's what she said. Okay.
not the Koreans.
No. Yeah, it's kind of like the Korean cilantro. That's what most comment says. It has a strong scent like cilantro, but it is a plant that Koreans love. And Korean people love that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love that plant, man.
Yeah.
It's good.
But there, like when you go to the barbecue place, there are so many different leaves that they have there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not just lettuce, like
No,
many different leaves.
they've got kale, raw kale. And then they got that leaf, like, it's green, but the stem is like purple.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I have no idea. And then, yeah, they've got a bunch. They've got like the hard lettuce and then the lettuce that you make the kimchi with. I think it's cabbage.
Cabbage, yeah.
But it's different from like the cabbage that we know. Like there's the round cabbage.
Yeah.
That's like, wrinkly. It looks like a brain. And then there's the other cabbage that Korean use for kimchi.
The long...
The Napa cabbage.
Yeah.
The long one with the leafy greens at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cabbage that we know, it could be purple or white,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the cabbage they use for like coleslaw and shit.
Coleslaw and shit,
Yeah. But the Korean cabbage, the Napa cabbage, that's what they use for the kimchi.
Yeah. Those things are big, eh?
Huh?
Those things are quite big.
Oh, they're huge.
Yeah.
They're like the size of my head. It's like this.
Oh.
It's like this big. Oh, that's big. Yeah, so thank you, Mo. Thank you for that clarification.
And thanks again for coming on the show, Mo.
Yeah. We haven't aired the episode yet, but we will. By the time this is on, it'll have been released.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a couple of things of politics there.
That's all we talked about. Elections.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to understand elections and politics.
I think we got a better grasp on it now.
A little bit.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that episode, check it out because it gives you good insight into Korean politics and like the election process. That's good. It was
By the
good.
way, congrats to the Blue Party. They won.
Did they? I don't know.
Yeah, the Blue Party. They
I
got
thought the Red Party won the right side of
No, they got the
Korea.
majority of the seats, the Blue Party.
Mm.
Yeah. But it's like you can see Korea is also split in half.
It's like exactly down the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But they won the majority of the seats.
Yeah.
But I saw another article about that. It says, I didn't really understand it fully, but like 1 million of the votes were not registered.
What do you mean?
Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. I couldn't understand the article, but it said like 1 million of the votes were not counted because they were not registered. So I don't know if there was like a mistake on the ballot, or I'm not sure what the case was, but 1 million votes were not
That's
accepted.
crazy.
Yeah.
A million is a lot.
That's a lot of people, especially in Korea, with like 52 million people.
Is that it?
Yeah,
Oh shit.
that's the population, 52.
That's almost 2% of the population, bro. Shit.
It's a lot of votes.
That's a shit ton of votes.
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mo. Yeah, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for explaining all that, and thank you for the comment. I'm gonna butcher this name. Karkawala Katulistiwa. Is that a name you're familiar with? Karkawala Katulistiwa.
My God.
I don't know where that's from. I
Beats
can't even.
me.
I can't even get a feeling for where it's from.
Karkawala? What was I?
Karkawala Katulistiwa. Katulistiwa.
Maybe like Uzbekistani or something.
Maybe.
They have those long names that don't stop.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't think of it. I have no idea. But thank you for watching, and thank you for leaving a comment. Population, huh?
What did he or she, they say?
Population collapse in South Korea, making Korea have the highest number of robots per capita in the world. 1 robot for every 100 workers. I think I understand it now. So it's kind of like, because of the population collapse in Korea and the low birth rates, they're trying to make more robots for the workers.
Scary.
It is. It replaces even, but it's kind of like counterintuitive, because you have less people, which means there should be more jobs for these people, but like you're taking away these jobs even from like the less number of people.
Yeah.
But I guess in a business standpoint, if you have 100 people as opposed to 1,000, those 100 people are going to want better jobs than to like serve at a restaurant.
Fair.
So maybe. Yeah.
Also, I saw another article during the week that links to that they said in 2042 there will be 1 out of 10 people working in Korea will be foreigners in 2042. That's a prediction that they made.
Oh, is that 18 years from now? No, 2024. 18 years. 1 out of how many people?
1 out of 10 will be, yeah, here it says. Foreigners may account for 1 in 10 working age people by 2042.
2042.
2042.
1 in 10. That's
1
a
in
lot.
10, yeah.
10%.
Also, they talk about the population, that says the population will shrink by 3.9% from 51.7 million in 2022 to 49.6 million in 2042. So that's probably why they're going to need the foreigners to come in and take over some of those spots, or the robots.
Now these election candidates, they're gonna have to start appealing to foreigners if they want that vote now.
Yeah.
It's gonna start counting a lot more. 1 out of 10 is a lot. That's the million votes that were counted out, basically.
Yeah.
Oh.
No. Because it's 10%.
Almost, yeah. Oh yeah, shit.
It's 10%.
Oh yeah. 2% versus 10%. Holy shit.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But most of the people won't even vote, man. We won't be allowed to vote.
No. It depends though. They might get more lenient with like the policies.
They should bring in some rule or something. If you've been here for 10 years, 20 years, 15 years or something.
Something like that.
You can apply for like a half a citizenship or
something like that.
Something, you know.
Yeah. I think you can apply to be a permanent resident.
You can, but that's a huge process. You have to do like the test, the Korean test.
The written test, yeah. You have to study hard for that test. I know a lot of people who are trying, and it's
I think you need to get like level 3?
I don't know. I don't know what the level is.
I know there's some different levels,
Yeah.
but you need to have like a certain level proficiency, and I think money as well. You need like
10,000, 10 million won.
Yeah, something like that
Oh.
in your bank account, if it's not
Maybe.
more.
And then like proof of like you being employed or something.
Yeah.
Probably. Sounds crazy though.
Missions.
Yeah. It's the process. I don't know if I want to go through with that. And then shout out to Burnt Sea. My man Rothmar is cooking. Yeah, so there's a Discord channel I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's just
What do you do on the Discord channel?
We just talk about trades, like
Okay.
just trading. Mostly
stock trading?
not stocks, foreign currency.
Currency. Okay.
Yeah, currency trading,
Okay.
which is super interesting.
Especially now.
Yeah, you get, dude,
Uh,
it's just crazy, man. You see the fluctuations of like all these different countries and their currencies. Japanese currency is at all-time low.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude, they're getting wrecked right now.
Why though?
I don't know. Oh, not all-time low. Well, it depends what perspective you're looking at, but
Yeah.
all-time high or all-time low, right? So it used to be, it was like the all-time high was like 150 yen for $1.
150 yen.
Yeah. But now it's up to like 154, which doesn't seem like a lot, but like that 4 yen is huge, right? Like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. The dollar is getting, so right now, like if you just think about the world economy, wars going on, so gold is getting stronger, right? Because people always look for security when there's wars going on. So you got gold just fucking increasing in price, regardless of whatever's happening with the other currencies. It doesn't matter. It just keeps going up. Yeah. And then the U.S. dollar is getting stronger because all the other countries, their economy is not doing so well. But the U.S. economy seems to be recovering a little bit. So what they're doing is, as far as I understand, I might be completely butchering this, but the U.S. economy, you know how the Fed sets interest rates, right? Well, I don't know if every country has a Federal Reserve.
I don't think most other countries do have a Federal Reserve.
Okay. Some countries do. Yeah. Right. So the Fed sets the interest rate, and that interest rate is it sets a lot of different things, right? But just to be brief, one of them is setting the interest rate on bonds. So if I decide to let the U.S. government borrow my money, I give them $1,000, let's say, for a bond, and they pay me interest based on that $1,000.
Yeah, like any loan.
Like a loan, basically. Yeah. They're borrowing money from me, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the maturity, I get that principal back like any loan, right? So high interest rates means that people are investing more money into the U.S. economy because they're getting a higher interest rate and getting more return. So that's kind of a good thing. And then it also determines the interest rate that you send to so the Federal Reserve lends money to banks, and then the banks lend money to you, right? So if the interest rate is high, people aren't borrowing a lot of money. If the interest rate is low, they're borrowing a lot of money. And that's what they use to kind of spur the economy, right? Okay. So if people are having trouble, like they're trying to open up businesses or businesses are failing, what they'll do is they'll lower the interest rate, and
people borrow money
and borrow more money, and it's easier for people to borrow money, theoretically. Yeah, because banks, they're so stringent, right? But what's happening is the U.S. is keeping their interest rates, and the other countries are lowering their interest rates because they're trying to spur the economy. So the strength of the dollar is going up relative to the other currencies, right? So everything costs more money to buy $1 US. Yeah, so if you like Korean won, for example, if it's like right now, I think it's like 1,330 won or something.
Did it go up or down?
I don't know. I haven't checked Korean won, but I'm assuming it went up.
Yeah,
because the Korean economy hasn't been doing amazingly, but the U.S. economy seems to be doing okay. But yeah, that's where Burnt Sea is from. Yeah, so we just kind of sit there and just talk and just try to figure out what's going on with the world and the economy and the currency. And it's interesting. It tells you a lot about the world. You know, like
follow the money.
Yeah,
always
bro.
Follow the money.
Yeah, and you see the impact that it's like the war is having. So, you know, tell me, you want to talk a little bit about that Iran war? Like, what's going on right now?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Well, by the time this video is going to be up, I'm sure there's going to be more stuff to it. But from what we know now is that last week Iran attacked Israel. And they sent 300 drones and ballistic missiles and whatever.
Now, when we talk about drones, we're not talking about, like, the little shits
No, it looks like a small jets almost.
Yeah. And, like, they're loaded with missiles and shit.
Yeah. But basically, what it seems like, they just sent Israel a message. They weren't there to cause damage because they gave them 72 hours notice. It's like, listen, we're going to attack. We're going to send drones. We're going to send ballistic missiles or whatever. And Israel, the UK, the US, and France, they intercepted, like, some reports say up to 99% of all the attacks. And they weren't attacking civilians. They were attacking airstrips and army bases or whatever.
Dude, but 1% is still a massive damage.
No, well, that's what they say. They say no one was killed. I think one girl was injured or something.
Oh.
The reports that are coming out. So, but yeah, it looks like Iran just sent a message saying, listen, you bombed our embassy in, where was it, in Syria or somewhere? You bombed our embassy. We have to retaliate. We have to do something to send you a message like, don't mess with us. So I guess that's what they did. And now it's like it's a waiting game to see if Israel's going to do something back, because the US said they will not stand with Israel to attack Iran, but they will defend Israel, but they're not going to help them attack any other country.
Right.
That's what Biden said. So now we have to see, because also that Bibi Netanyahu, another report that came out that said that the reason why he's going to stay in power is because as long as there's a war, they can't have an election to get a new president. So if the war is over, then they have an election, he's gone. He's out. He'll probably even go to jail or something. I don't know.
Wow.
But so he wants to have this war drag out as long as possible because that's the only way he's going to stay president.
Jesus.
So now with the Gaza thing...
So this ties back to Syria.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think... Where's Damascus? Is that in Syria?
My geography is shit. I have no idea.
I'm not sure. But anyway, so...
I'll look it up while you
I think that's the embassy the Iranian embassy that Israel bombed was in Damascus, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think that might be in Syria.
Damascus.
And...
Capital of Syria.
There
It's
we
the
go.
capital.
Now we know. Now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damascus, capital of Syria.
So that's where they bombed the Iranian embassy.
Oh.
And yeah, obviously Iran had to retaliate because they have to show that they are not weak, I guess.
Now,
But-
was it an intentional attack? Like, did Israel be like, yo, there's the Iran embassy there, let's fuck them up?
Well, they said the Iranian embassy was headquarters for militant groups or something. So it wasn't...
for Syria.
Yeah.
Mm.
So because Iran backs all of these other terrorist organizations like the Houthis and all of them, they send them money and they fund them.
Mhm.
So they said the the Iranian embassy in Syria, the Damascus one, was one of the headquarters for one of these groups or something, some militia group, and that's why they had to bomb it.
Did they give the Iranians warning before they bombed it?
I'm not sure. I don't know about that. I'm not sure.
It's active war zone, so probably not.
Yeah. And so they had to retaliate, and now Israel's saying that they have to respond as well.
Because he needs to stay president.
He needs to stay president, and he also needs to show like strength. But a lot of people now, it's also the whole world's divided. Some people saying yes, you should attack them back. Others say no, show restraint. Because if he attacks them back, then it starts.
That's another war.
Then
yeah.
it's another war.
Jesus. It's funny because you don't think about any of those things while you're living your kind of like day-to-day life. Like, you're aware that war is happening, but you don't really think about
Especially us, so we're so far away.
it. Yeah.
So it doesn't even affect us. But let's say I put my tinfoil hat on, right? If we go a bit deep into conspiracies, if I was Kim Jong-un,
Yeah.
I'd be watching that very closely.
Oh, dude. It's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
It's a huge opportunity.
Because if America can get drawn into a war in the Middle East and be distracted,
Well,
who's going to come and protect us over here?
mm,
You know? And same goes for China and Taiwan, you know?
China's, yeah.
Because I think everyone's just waiting for America to be distracted somewhere to do something. Because, like, they weren't fully distracted in the Ukrainian war. They didn't get involved there. Yes, they sent money and weapons and stuff, but not really active in the war zone. Now, with Israel, that's different because Israel and the US are much tighter than the Ukraine and the US.
All right.
So if something happens in Israel, then they have to go and help.
Jesus.
And I mean, that's a huge distraction.
It's like a huge chessboard.
Exactly.
Oh. Just trying to
Geopolitics,
strategize.
Yeah. So if I had my tinfoil hat on, that's why I'm a bit nervous these days. Like earlier, I told you that jets flying over and stuff. Yeah. We have an airport close by, so it's normal for jets to fly over here where we live.
Oh.
But yeah, man, I hear them a lot these days.
Yeah, I haven't seen, but I've been hearing a lot of them. Oh.
So every time I hear them, it makes me nervous. I'm waiting for that alert on my phone to say, find shelter.
And the funny thing is, you don't, in the 7 years that I've lived here, I haven't really heard a lot, even seen one. I don't think I've ever seen one since, like, the first time I saw or heard one was last year, or this year, with you. At the Hog one, right? Like, it was like,
Yeah.
What is that? And then we saw it just resume, do like a 90-degree turn.
Yeah.
That was
But I
pretty
guess it's like training exercises and stuff they do.
What are they training for, bro?
don't know.
Why are they training so hard all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Like,
But that's the thing. I mean, if you look at Israel, they didn't expect that attack on, what was it, October 7th? They didn't expect that attack. Boom, all of a sudden. Even though apparently they had notice of it happening.
right.
But it just happens like that. Same with in Ukraine. They saw Russia on the border doing drills and exercises. Boom, then they attacked. we're living next to North Korea. You know what I mean?
No.
If something happens, I'm not going to be shocked.
No.
Obviously, I don't want anything to happen, but I mean, I'm not going to be shocked because
That's crazy.
this is like what's happening to the world, man.
Yeah.
You know?
That's crazy. I mean, it might bring the world together to a certain extent, but at the cost of so many lives.
At the cost of what? Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to shit. I hope our children's generation can kind of live to see the world. It might not be a
like
world
this
to
is
see.
all the makings of another world war. If you look at World War One, World War Two, how it started, you know, started here and then this happened and then this happened. Same shit.
I
And
think
it doesn't just happen overnight. Like the World War didn't just start overnight. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like a build-up of a lot of things, many years.
I think the only thing that's really missing currently is probably a charismatic leader. And
any leader,
no, I think you need one that'll like. Well, yeah, are you just saying yeah?
just a leader. Doesn't
Right.
have to be charismatic, handsome, anything. Just needs to be a leader.
But you need a charismatic one to like rally the troops and kind of
And
band
a
them together.
strong one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because right now all the I mean, shit. Putin is strong. The Chinese Xiao
Xi
Xingyi,
Jinping.
whatever his name is,
Yeah.
yeah, he's strong, right? But like, they're
respected. That's
yeah,
the thing.
That's the thing. Yeah,
That's the thing. They're respected.
Yeah.
Even though no one fucking likes them,
yeah,
they're still respected.
yeah.
The problem is with these Western leaders, no one respects them.
No, the Western culture itself is hard to respect at the rate
Yeah.
things are going these days. Like, just everybody's just. Yeah, that country. I mean, it's my country. I love my country, but it's going to shit.
No.
Yeah.
See, and then this could be a nice segue for our one of our things that we want to talk about here is the hierarchy in Korea, because that's all about respect. Right?
Kind of forcing it there, but okay.
Supposedly. No, I'm just thinking, like, I'm trying to make a link there. So if you think of the Western cultures, right? Same in South Africa, same in wherever, the Western cultures. I don't even know if we're really part of the Western cultures in South Africa, but fuck.
No, you're like your own little area. Probably.
Yeah.
Well.
But a lot of us come from the UK, so anyway. For instance, I can go to a bar and I can sit down and have a beer with a guy that's 7 years old. I've done that many times, you know. And I treat him with respect, but he's not going to tell me, you know, go get away, fuck off, go drink by yourself, whatever.
No.
He'll just have a beer with me. There will be that mutual respect, even though I'm 50 years younger than the guy. That won't happen in Korea.
It depends, man. Like, that's hard to describe. It depends what
It
your
is hard,
relation.
yeah.
It's so difficult. It depends on your relationship with the person, the environment you're in.
Okay, let's just say complete strangers. There's a 70-year-old man at the bar, and there's a young guy of like 25, 30 years old going into the bar.
It depends on the person, man. Some guys you can go up to and be like, "Hey, like, what's up?
Yeah.
Let's have a drink." But like, so that's where.
But even that conversation is going to be limited.
No, so what limits the conversation is that we have in Korea, as many of you may be aware, there's two types of Korean, basically, right? One is a respectful Korean, which we call 존댓말,
The formal one.
the formal one. And then one is kind of just like the thing you use with your friends or anybody who's younger than you, which is 반말, which means like short words, basically, right? Yeah.
But
It's
even,
so hard to explain.
but even that in itself, to me, where I come from, South Africa, where you respect anyone around you. Obviously, you respect your elders more than you respect the people younger than you.
Right.
But I feel like in Korea, it's so out there, it's so obvious that even if you're 1 year older or 2 years older, anyone younger than you is a lesser person. That's what it feels like for me, from an outsider looking at it like that.
Yeah.
Because you can even see that, like in class, when you have the students in front of you, some of the classes are mixed levels,
Yeah.
but ages are mixed as well, right? So you have one person that's, let's say, 13 and other ones that are 11.
Yeah.
They've got to treat this fucking 13-year-old like a god compared to the rest of them, you know?
Yeah. I don't really know where the basis of this comes from. I know that it's just deeply rooted into the Korean culture. I have no idea where it came from, the roots of it. Maybe we could call Mo in next time and talk to him about this, like the origins of kapje.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just kind of taught from a young age. It's just part of the culture. Like, as soon as you're born, you know, as a baby, you're told not to use 반말 or informal language with anybody that's older than you. And even now, like, it's like now if you meet a stranger, it doesn't matter if they're older or younger than you. You always most people these days, you kind of always start with 존댓말,
the
which
formal
is formal one.
Yeah.
Right? And then once you kind of get to know each other a little bit, once you become a little bit friendly, then you start using 반말.
And also, what I've noticed, well, as a foreigner, what I've noticed, for Koreans, the interactions that they have, one of the first questions that they ask you, how old are you?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
It's yes, okay, my name is whatever, and then how old are you?
Yeah.
Because straight off the bat, they want to see, okay, where do we stand with each other,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And for me, like, that's the last question I ask people when I meet them.
No, it's not very respectful, bro. In any other culture, it's like, why do you want to know how old I am?
Yeah.
Like, what does that important? What does that matter?
What is it to you?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So and that's where I come from, my background. I don't go to places, oh, how old are you? How old are you?
No.
Doesn't matter. I'll judge how old you are after we have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know
You'll
what I mean?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll sort of know. And then later, maybe, if I meet you again, it's like, oh, fuck, you're 35. Jeez, I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be pleasantly surprised. But in Korea, it's very normal if someone comes up to you and says like, hey, my name's whatever. How old are you?
Yeah, basically, that's your introduction.
Yeah, that's one of the...
What's your name? Oh, cool. How old are you? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then, like, where do you work? Like, that's kind of like the normal conversation.
Yeah, and then it goes from there. But it's straight off the bat, they want to know, okay,
Yeah.
let's see where we stand with each other.
Yeah.
Who's got to be respectful to who's got to show more respect, or who's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's...
And sometimes, so it works out for the better, like, for the some. So what happens is, like, you have that whole conversation, and some people are still very respectful, right? It's like, it's the first time we're meeting, so it's like, I don't care how old you are, I'm still going to kind of show you respect by using 존댓말.
Sure.
But a lot of the older Koreans, like people that are right now probably in their like mid 40s and onwards, they'll be like, "Oh, you're 30 something? Oh, like, you know, you're a youngin." You know? And like for me, I found myself doing that with like kids. So at the CrossFit gym where I work out, sometimes we get like college kids. And it's like, you could tell they're kids. Like, you look at them and like they're young kids, right?
They're not even fully developed.
No. And like, those kind of kids, you kind of just use 반말 right away, right? And like, it might just be me turning into an old-ass Korean, just like getting deeply rooted into the culture, but...
Okay, but I understand if there's like a 10-year difference or more than 10-year difference. Like, same in South Africa, basically. There's like an unspoken rule. If someone is 10 years older than you, we have a phrase in Afrikaans. If it's a man, then you say to this person, like ajoshi, basically. It means right? Like an older man. Or if it's a woman, we say tani.
Okay.
Right?
Tanya?
Like tani.
Tani.
Like auntie or...
okay.
Yeah. You know, and... that's if you can see, this person is probably 10 years older than me, then you say it. Some of them hate it though.
No.
And like some of them like, hey, I'm not married to your, because it means uncle basically.
Right.
I'm not married to your...
My name isn't Bob.
sister. Yeah, whatever. Then they say like that, you know. And a lot of women also, like same in Korea, if you call the woman ajuma.
Oh, they hate it.
They hate it.
They hate it.
And a lot of South African people as well, if you call them Tani, especially the English people, like a lot of my friends are English and stuff, so then you go to their house, hello Tani, I'm not your Tani, don't call me Tani. Like, okay, sorry Tani.
Yeah.
But there's that unspoken rule, 10 years or more than that, then you show that kind of respect.
Right.
But if not, then it's fine. Like the same for younger kids. If you see someone 10 years younger than you, whatever, then
That's a kid.
it's a kid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But you don't disrespect them.
No, you're not. Again, this all boils down to the person, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's people that are like, oh, you're 10 years younger than me. Like, go give me my coffee. Like, go get this.
Yeah.
Go do that. Go do this.
No.
And then there's people like, oh, you're 10 years younger. Cool. Like, and then you just kind of just go on with your life, right?
Which I noticed at my kickboxing gym when I was in Chungju.
No.
We would have different time slots as well. So we had 6 o'clock, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. So I would go on different days.
No.
Some days I finish earlier than I go to the gym earlier.
No.
And the earlier you go, the younger the students are, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes I would go there and have to spar with like high school kids, you know, middle school kids. And we're all in the gym. To me, I know I'm older than them, but I treat them like I would treat anyone else, you know. And you can see a lot of them are so nervous and so like they didn't know how to treat the situation. Obviously, because I'm a foreigner and I'm older than them, so they treat me with respect and you know, like they bow and do all these things. But I was like, come, let's go, let's fight, and they don't know how to react in the situation. Because if it was other Korean person, they would probably say no, you know, like. it was weird just to see the way they react, just because I'm older than them.
Yeah.
It's like, no, come, that's fine, don't worry. And other people that I usually like, friends that became friends with me, I was 10 years older than them,
Yeah.
and they would always go and bow and you know, so I was like, hey, Chingu, friend,
Yeah.
relax, you don't have to talk to me like that. We're
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
And then
Like,
it took them a while to get used to that.
Like at the hug one, right? Like, yeah, and this is where it goes back to the environment too. Like somewhere like a kickboxing, where you're all kind of just there to exercise. Like same thing where I was talking about CrossFit, right? Like we're all just here to exercise. We're all here to just improve on ourselves.
Yeah.
So you know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna do any kapje. Kapje, that's what it means. Kapje. We have the Korean word for kap means kind of like, I guess it means top.
Yeah, according to the article, it's like superior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have which is inferior.
Yeah.
So that's the relationship, kap and So the relationship between you and your boss is your kap and you are the right? So that's where kapjil comes from. Jil means like acting. So acting like a superior, like kapjil, right? You see a lot of it on like, there was that one whole big incident a while back about the owner of the Korean Airlines,
Yeah.
the woman.
The daughter, wasn't she the
daughter?
The
Yeah.
daughter,
But I think she like runs that airline now or whatever the case.
Oh,
But whatever the case, she like threw a bunch of peanuts at one of the servers because
so
it's like, I don't fucking
so
like
I read
this.
the article earlier. So she's the daughter, or she was the daughter of the owner of the airline or something. But she's high up in Korea. It was a Korean airline.
Korean
right?
Air.
Korean Air. She got on the a flight, and then they gave her nuts in a bag instead of in a bowl. And then she flipped her lid on that and yelled at the air hostess or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they had to turn the plane around so that this woman can get off the plane. Not the owner. She fired that person on the spot.
Jesus
the
Christ,
air
bro.
hostess. She fired on the spot and told her, you will get off the plane now. They had to turn the plane around so that this woman can get off the plane.
Jesus.
I mean, yes, that's not gupchill. That's lunacy, man. Eh?
But that's kapje. That's what it is. It's like, yo, I own this airline and you fucked up by
Yeah.
giving me peanuts in a bag. Like, how dare you?
How dare you?
How fucking dare you in a
Yeah.
bag? Like,
So, and that's the thing where this gupchill can come in, is where someone thinks they're better than you, or their status somehow is better than you. It has to do with age. Okay, that's a big one in Korea, is the age. If anyone's older than you, they might think they're better than you or whatever. The other one is income, right? So if someone earns more money than you, or they think they earn more money than you, they feel like they have this superiority over you.
no.
Gender is a big one.
Gender, it's less now because of the whole Me Too movement, but it
Yeah.
is kind of a big
But
one.
it's still pretty big. Gender equality in Korea is still pretty big compared
Okay.
to other countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like, and I keep going back to the City Hall reference, but like most of the high level employees in City Hall are men, right? And this is less of a sexist thing and more of like the whole kapjil thing, where it's like a man, I might have 3 secretaries. One of them is a girl, 2 of them are men. The men, you're going to be tasked with protecting me. The woman, you're going to be tasked with making my coffee. Like, for example, right? Like, that's kind of where kapjil comes in. And the Koreans are so used to this society that it's just kind of like, well, that's my job, you know, make coffee. Like, it's cool. Like, I get paid to make coffee. And like, they see it in a good way, but at the same time, it's kind of just like, you can't imagine going to America or South Africa and being like your boss being like, yo, go make me my coffee. Like, what are you doing? That's your job, right? Like,
because you're a woman.
Yeah, it's
Or
like,
something like that. No.
no, go suck a dick, you dumb shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, no.
Fuck off, I quit.
Yeah. But that's just how it is in Korea. And it's like,
Yeah.
it only works because everybody conforms to it.
That's the thing. But according to the article as well, they had this one university professor or someone on which studies this, and he said it seems like there's a trend that things are starting to change, especially like online. People are starting to share these ideas online and like trying to stand up against this thing, which I think is a good thing. So that's a connection what I will make with back to the other countries, right? Which I said, fine, yes, it's a good thing. I agree that obviously men and women should be equal in most ways possible.
Sure.
Even though I don't think we are physically, we're not. Like, not in sport, we're not fucking equal.
No.
But any other place, sure, go for it. But if you look at the Western countries, right, America's falling apart, right, with all that woke bullshit and all that stuff, right? But in Korea, we're still pretty stable with regards to that.
For now.
Yes, it's unfair, but if you look how the countries run, and the gapchil and all that stuff, you know, like, it's...
My whole thing is like, how do you get rid of that? like, where do you start? Are you like starting this year?
But my question is, do you get rid of it?
And maybe you don't. Because
what if you do get rid of that whole hierarchy system? What if you do get rid of that all the respect and all these type of things, and then 10 years, 20 years from now,
we've got America. America 2.0, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's not as bad as like the India caste system. The India caste system is fucking obscene, bro.
The India caste? What do you
caste system?
Caste?
They've got like 29 levels in their hierarchy.
In India?
In India.
Okay.
There's a caste system. I don't know too much about it. I think it's 29 levels. But like the lowest levelers are basically peasants.
Yeah.
But every level above you is like your superior.
Yeah.
And like it's supposed to be super strict.
Oh, really?
Like there's no way to climb out of your caste system. Like you're born into that system. You're born into it.
Yeah.
So it's just all luck who your parents are.
Well, see, the nice thing about Korea is like it's still a capitalist country, so you can get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not trapped forever.
No, you're not. And you can get out.
You're always going to stay younger than someone, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I agree that we should try to keep this. Honestly, I think it works. Yes, there are side effects, but that's true for any system. That's
the thing. The only problem with this system is that you have those extremes, like the crazy lady on the plane.
Yeah.
But I've also seen it with, like I said, I used to go to a bar in Chungju, and the owner of this bar, the way he would treat his staff, sometimes I even told him, like, you can't fucking do this, man.
No.
You know, and I know it's not my place to tell him how to run his bar,
Yeah.
but just the way he treated his staff, and he was like the oldest one there, and he had females working for them who'd yell at them and scream at them. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, but at the end of the day, they're getting paid. So it's like, while they're getting paid, they shut their mouth and then they get out of work and, you know, they're like,
Fair
oh,
enough.
this sheep eye and blah, 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 you know, right?
Yeah, but just the way that he did it, you know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I mean?
And it's just what you get accustomed to. And that depends how much of a dick you can be depends on how good your business is, too.
Yeah.
Like, if your business is amazing, you can be a fucking asshole and people will just shut up and take it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And going back to Hagwons, like the academies that we work at, you have a lot of these, and you have horror stories all over Korea. And like if you go on Facebook, you have pages dedicated to horror stories about working at an English academy in Korea, where the directors do this gapchil and treat their workers like absolute shit.
No.
And for a lot of the foreigners, they do the midnight run. Most of the time, if they get treated like shit all the time, they say, okay, cheers, I'm out.
Yeah.
Right? They book a ticket and they fly back. For Koreans, a lot of them are stuck in that spot. They can't just quit and find another job, or they have to take this job, and they just, nah, I can see me though. Sorry.
Oh, finding a good boss is important.
I have a ex-coworker that used to work with me. Great person, great teacher, but she was stuck at her job for years. She couldn't quit. And eventually one day she just had enough, and she's like, I'm out, goodbye. And she quit after years. She was stuck in that job.
Oh, you got to pay the bills, bro. What are you gonna do?
It's sad.
I want to go back to this culture thing real quick,
Yeah.
because it's interesting that they bring up trying to get rid of it, and like that is changing. But I imagine if I had somebody who was 10 years younger than me, now if they came up to me and be like, yeah, I would get fucking pissed, you know, even if like the whole system changed.
Yeah.
Right. It would just be like, because I'm so rooted in there. It's only been 7 years.
Just for the people that don't know, like, you don't say yeah to someone older than you.
No, yeah, that's like
very disrespectful.
You say that to somebody younger. Even then, it's disrespectful when you say it to somebody younger.
But that's the thing. You say yeah to someone with the intention of being like sort of
discriminatory, like kind of just pushing them down.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm fucking better than you, basically.
Yeah. You say it to your friends, like in a fun way.
In a fun way, joking way. But if you say it to someone you don't know, is not your friend, then it means like...
Especially like a stranger, that means like you want to fight.
Yeah.
Like you're just walking, you see this guy, you're like, and then that's just a fight.
Yeah. It's like in English, you go to someone, hey, asshole.
Yeah.
Same thing,
that one syllable has so many meanings.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't imagine that happening to me. Like, if that happened to me, I would, no matter if they change the law, I don't give a shit, right?
Yeah.
But if they changed it and they tried to do it and have these little kids coming up to me and be like, yeah, like I would just... Of course,
but that's the thing, that's that intention behind the word.
No.
You know what I mean? That's what makes a difference.
No.
It's just that intention behind it.
Like, even now, if I have a kid that's 1 or 2 years younger than me, and like we've already...
Kid, 1 or 2 years younger than me?
You know what I mean.
You're like an old Korean man.
I am. If I have a person that's 1 or 2 years younger than me, and we've already established the relationship where like we're speaking respectfully to each other, and then suddenly they try to use 반말, a part of me just kind of just like freezes. It's like, fuck, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't be like, what the fuck did you just say? It's not like that. It's just kind of like, Okay. You
Yeah.
know, like, it just became a part of me. And,
Yeah.
like, as you live in this country, it kind of just grows on you, right?
Well, that's it, even for me, because I know some of the language, and I know like the way some people talk to other people.
Oh.
With the kids in my class, some of them can't speak English yet.
Oh.
You know, so they only speak Korean. But even if they speak what do you call it, bammal?
Yeah. Bammal.
Bammal to me,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, it's yo.
Yeah.
Make sure you say yo at the end of your
Oh.
sentence, bro.
Oh.
Like, what are you doing?
Most of the times when you want to speak 존댓말, it's a yo at the end of the sentence.
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
Like,
yo.
if I ask kids a question, do you do homework?
Yeah.
아니. 아니, yo. What do you mean, 아니?
Get a foreigner yelling at a kid for speaking 반말.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like, even though I'm a foreigner, it's still fucking.
It just
I'm older than you, man.
It's just a form of it's yeah, it's strict and yeah, it sucks. But at the same time, it shows respect, and I think it works both ways, right? Like, you expect the same amount of respect you show to somebody else.
Yeah.
So, if I'm doing the same thing to somebody that's older than me, and I don't have a problem with it, I expect people younger than me to do the same thing, right? Like, for me, even if a kid is, I keep saying kid, even if somebody's 1 year older than me, I'm still gonna respect the culture because it's you know, it's the culture I'm living in.
Of course.
Yeah, so I'll call him Hyung and I'll call him Nuna or whatever the case. I'll call her Nuna.
Yeah.
And just, you know, use the 존댓말. I won't use 반말. Funny thing is, between men and women, it's a little different. When you're not in the workplace, it's easier for men and women to talk to each other with 반말. And it goes both ways. Like, if I'm a man and I have a younger girl, and she calls me oppa, like that's kind of like a respect thing. It's just oppa, right? But if she speaks 반말 to me, I'm okay with that. I don't know why. And it's just kind of accepted. The same thing if I have a girl who's older than me and I call her 누나, but I use 반말, it's okay. And I don't know why it works like that, but it just does.
But for the same gender, it's not okay.
No.
Yeah. I've actually, now that you mention, I've seen that. Yeah,
You
I've
see
noticed
that
it.
happening.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you see a girl be like, 오빠 밥 먹어? 밥 먹자. 뭐 하자. Right? And it's like, 오빠, let's go. And it's like, yeah, let's go.
But you don't see that in the same gender.
No, you don't. It's like, 형 밥 먹자. It's like, what'd you say to me? Like, it kind of just flips the other way. Same thing
Yeah.
for the girls too, I believe.
Yeah.
It's like, 언니 밥 먹자. Maybe it's a little less between the girls. I don't know. But for some reason, between men and women,
yeah, especially men,
Yeah.
I think.
if you're not in the workplace, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some reason, like, it just,
So like I've had a lot of Korean mates as well that are older than me,
yeah,
and call them by their name and say, "Hey, Hyung."
yeah,
It's like, oh fucking hell, what are you talking about, bro? Then I just say, "Sorry, I don't speak Korean."
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. But also jokingly, stuff like that. And one of my other friends, his name is Yongjin.
yeah.
And just to piss him off, sometimes I say, "Yongjuna," you know, stuff like that. And they're
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
That tone that Ian used, that's usually the tone that parents use when they call their children.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually. Yeah. 용준아, 밥 먹자, 빨리 나와. You know, like, yeah, come out, hurry up, stop doing what you're doing to come out. But yeah, it's funny because
Yeah.
it just works that way.
So yeah, back to the Gabjul and the hierarchy. Well, actually not back to, but still on it.
Yeah.
Like we said, age is the first thing they're gonna ask you. How old are you, so that they can determine where they are in the ladder.
Hierarchy, yeah. You've got gender.
Okay, income is the other one, right? Because
Like, this talks less about 존댓말 and 반말 and more about the way you act to people.
yeah,
And, you know, 갑질 is a combination of, again, it goes back to you acting superior than somebody, right? So age and gender, yes, but you have the 반말 and 존댓말 in between to kind of just like filter that out. The thing about income is that you know when somebody's making money. Like,
Yeah.
And the thing about
but
Korea,
that can be any culture as well.
no, of course.
Yeah.
But the thing about Korean people is like, there's this Asian comic that I saw a clip recently, and like, this guy's hilarious, and he's like, Jimmy Cho, or whatever, and he's like, white people, they don't talk about how much money they have. They just talk about how expensive things are. Like, oh, I'm sending my kid to private school. It's so expensive. Like, oh, I'm getting a renovation from my house, and it's so expensive, right?
Yeah.
So they don't brag about the money, but they brag about like how expensive things
expensive
are. And then black people, they say things, they tell you the exact price, right? Yo, this Mercedes right here, 80,000. this car right here, this house, 300,000, right? They tell you the exact number. And then they say that Asian people is different because it's like they talk about how much of a bargain they got.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like,
how cheap they are.
yeah, how cheap it is. So he goes, so he his name is Jimmy.
Yeah.
And he's like, his mom says, Jimmy, guess how much, right? Like that's his phrase. It's
Yeah,
like, guess how much this was. Like, I got a good bargain for it. But going back to that, I think it ties into that whole mentality of like the cheapness and whatnot. But at the end of the day, Koreans, the reason I mentioned that whole thing is Koreans are a little bit like black people in a sense that we flaunt our wealth.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say we, I'm American, but I'm living in the country, so I say
You're
we.
singing with a gold chain on your wrist.
Gold ring, gold chains, like, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
fucking Samsung watch, and like this is just me flaunting my wealth, right? But at the same time, it's like it's a status symbol.
It is.
And the thing is, Koreans go ape shit over luxury brands, like especially cars, bags, clothing, right?
Yeah.
They'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on designer bags and like.
And that's also why Korea is one of the countries with the highest credit card debt
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah, but Korea also has a shit ton of money.
They
The
do.
rich people in Korea have a shit
Yeah.
ton of money. But like they like to flaunt their wealth, and
Yeah.
that's why when you're walking in, when you're anywhere, you can just tell. It doesn't necessarily have to be about their clothing, but people with money, for some reason, you can tell that they have money.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people,
Sorry. So on that, so for example, in South Africa, like we go to golf clubs or bowling clubs or whatever,
no,
and then some of these guys sit there and they drink a normal beer like everyone else.
no,
Filthy rich,
yeah,
but you would never tell it.
yeah,
Yeah. In Korea,
you
it's-
know.
you know.
That motherfucker drives up in a Lamborghini,
Yeah,
has
like
a
you know.
valet parking.
Yeah.
He's wearing gold rings, gold watch, glasses, and like sunglasses
Yeah.
that are fucking $100,000
If he
a
looks
pair.
like he doesn't have money, he probably doesn't have money.
But the funny thing is, in Korea, you have those people too, where the people who flaunt their wealth aren't really wealthy, and the really rich people are driving cars from like 20, 30 years ago,
Yeah.
right? Like that happens too. You get that kind of in between.
In between.
But for
But
the
they
most
don't look
part,
broke.
no.
Yeah.
It's something about them gives off a vibe that like this person is not broke,
Yeah.
right? Like it's the way they carry themselves, maybe it's the way they're comfortable with themselves. But when you see that, it's kind of like that's where the capture comes in. And the capture comes in especially for the people who flaunt their wealth. Like the people, the quiet wealthy ones, you're just kind of like, oh, okay. And like they're very respectful. The quiet, really, really rich people, you won't even know that they're rich and they're super respectful. And then you find out later they own like 50 buildings,
Yeah.
right? Like, and then the ones who flaunt their wealth, that's where you see the capture.
capture,
Yeah.
yeah.
The ones that are wearing like Versace, like a
And
muffer,
Porsches and
driving Porsches,
Lamborghinis,
Lamborghinis. They
yeah.
pull up, they toss their keys to the valet and be
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
yeah, do this, do that.
Like
To
the bad
people-
guys you see in the the Korean movies.
Yeah.
Those
and,
guys.
And those are people, and they do that shit to like people 30, 40 years older than them.
And they're
right?
real. They
Yeah,
are real.
They happen.
Yeah.
And like
that's a funny thing in Busan.
oh.
So we go to Busan, like the famous strips in Busan, you see these fancy cars, people driving in fancy cars. And I was there with a friend last time, and he said, you know how many of them are just rented cars?
Yeah.
Like the people rent that car for a day or 2 days, and
Yeah.
they just drive up and down Busan, pick up girls, and
Yeah.
then, you know, it's not even their cars, it's just rented cars.
Yeah.
But that's how much they want to flaunt and show that they have, you know, pretend like, hey man, I'm wealthy, don't worry.
No.
And I guess it works because
That's and it
It's a
goes
business,
both it
yeah.
goes both ways, right? Like if you flaunt your wealth in Korea, you succeed. Like it kind of just goes both ways.
Yeah.
The richer you seem to present yourself, the more people kind of are attracted to you, especially people of the opposite gender.
yeah,
And just something about that, like it's just built into the culture too, right? Like you have these dramas of like people who are filthy fucking rich, like dumb rich.
yeah.
And like you'll see them and just kind of flaunting their wealth and like just living, you know, like, oh, you don't like this person, it's okay, I'll buy the whole company. Like you see that kind of shit in dramas.
Yeah.
So when you see somebody in real life who's kind of trying to imitate that, look something like that,
And it's always typical in the dramas. You have the rich boy
falls in love with the poor
falls
ass
in love with the
girl,
poor girl.
and the poor girl doesn't know that he's filthy rich. She has no
Yeah.
idea who the fuck he is,
No
and they
idea.
fall in love, and she finds out he's the
Some-
son of Samsung.
Yeah.
You know, like that's how the
and
Korean
he
dramas
buys
work.
the building.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just buys the building that
Yeah.
she works in and then like fires her boss, you know, shit like that. And like that's kind of where I don't want to say brainwashed, but that's where you
It's indoctrination.
basically.
Basically.
Yeah, it's like you know, you got to respect the rich people.
Yeah.
Basically, that's how it comes down to. It's like that's how they control the crowd here.
Yeah.
And that's where the capture comes in. It's like you need to act the part. right? So even if you're renting that Lamborghini, as far as you're concerned, for that day, you're rich as fuck.
Yeah.
So you need to act like you're a fucking asshole, right? And that's, that's kapje. That's kapje when it comes to income.
And so that's income, right? And then the last one on that part is education, right? So even in our city, Ulsan, where you have the discrepancy, basically, people that live in Okdong is where the best education is, as opposed to all the other parts of the city.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if you have the whole of Korea, if you went to university in Seoul, you're already higher up on that list compared to the other people that went otherwhere.
And it ties into income, because you can't live in those places that offer good education unless you have a lot of money. So those two kind of go hand in hand, right? If you're living in an area where the education is good, the rent or the houses are going to be expensive. They're going to be dumb stupid.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're already living in that neighborhood by itself, you don't even have to go to that school. But if you're living in that area, you're already proving that you have a lot of income.
Yeah.
You don't have to say anything about that, right? And that's, it shows in a lot. So the examples that I've seen a lot of kapje when it comes to education are doctors and professors, right? The way doctors treat their nurses, bro, that's kapje at the fucking max.
Yeah.
And then the way professors treat their students, right? It's like something about those two professions, especially older men towards younger women workers. So what you'll have is like doctors against nurses, professors against like teacher assistants.
Yeah.
And the way they treat them is just kind of like shit, It's just how it is. And the nurses are always complaining about the doctors. The TAs and the students are always complaining about the professors. Honestly speaking, education is something that I understand. It's like, if you're smart, you deserve to be kind of an asshole once in a while. Like, I get that, but not all the time, and not low. Like, you don't treat people like they're lower than you, right?
But that's anyone.
No, yeah.
That's
But
basic
anywhere in the
humans.
world, education. If you're more educated, you are going to treat some people with less respect, only because
Do you feel smarter than them?
no, it's not because you feel smarter than them. It's because you can't have a conversation with them. And it's not a matter of like disrespecting right out. It's not like, yo, you're stupid as fuck, go do this. It's not like that, right? It's more just kind of like, okay, you're not quite understanding what I'm trying to say to you. You're not quite understanding. You're not at the same kind of level that I am. So I'm not going to say these things to you. And like, you find yourself disrespecting this person, but not like blatantly,
Yeah.
right? Education is more of a subtle kind of disrespect, right? But you get that. But with kapje, I think in Korea, it's more blatant.
Yeah.
Right? Like anywhere else in the world, even in South Africa, you get somebody super smart. They're not going to talk to you about things that they would if you're not on their level, right?
Of course, yeah.
They'll try to explain things to you, but they'll
not gonna
try.
waste their time.
Yeah. They'll try once or twice, and if you're not getting it, you're not getting it. They're not going to spend their time. And that is in a form of sort of disrespect, right? It's like you're too stupid to understand this.
Yeah.
They're just not saying it,
Yeah.
right? But it's like, you're not understanding
And obviously,
this.
whatever they want to talk about doesn't interest you, and vice versa.
Exactly.
You guys are different wavelengths.
Well, they might even just blow past you, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to explain something. You're like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
No.
Then it's kind of like, yeah. But it's just a lot more blatant in Korea, and that's where the kapje comes from. Like that whole incident with the Korean doctors striking out. They were like, I think the government decided to raise the acceptance rate of hospitals for new doctors by like 200 per year or something. And they were like, that's fucking absurd.
Yeah.
Like we don't need more doctors. And it's like, well, yes, you do, right? There's the whole problem. The whole problem with Korean, like with the Korean medical system is that a lot of people don't want to work in a public hospital because you can make your own. Once you have your license, a doctor's license, you can make your own business and make a shit ton.
And there
more.
are so many.
There's almost as many doctors' offices as there are cafes in Korea. Almost.
There are so many.
Oh, bro.
Walk down in any city, just look up, you'll see, or dentists.
Yeah.
Dentists and doctors everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And it's just, why would I work at a public hospital dealing with all these people that like are just annoying as shit when I can open my own business and I have to deal with them anyway? I might as well make a lot more money from it, right? So what's happening is like this influx of new doctors, they go to work at a public hospital for 2 to 3 years just to kind of stack their experience, and then they just bounce.
They make their own little clinic or something.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's what you're saying the problem is. The problem is it's not a matter of not having enough doctors. It's just a matter of Korean healthcare system is amazing, right? But that means that the doctors also get reimbursed for all that. Like when you go to a doctor's office, you don't pay that much. But that's because the Korean insurance covers so much of the cost, right? But who sees that? The doctors or the hospitals do. But if the hospitals see it, the doctors don't see it.
Yeah.
So if you have your own office, you see all that money.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, I have to deal with the same bullshit here or there. I might as well deal with it and make more money in the meanwhile, right? Which I understand. But that's the inherent problem of the medical system. So by the government being like, oh, we're going to hire more doctors, I understand the doctors too, in a sense that like, that's not really going to help, right? So you had that whole strikeout and like people just walking out. And then what was funny to see is like even the new doctors who just started, they don't know any better, right? They're like, oh, well, fuck. But they walk out right along with the other doctors too, right? And in a sense, like I almost kind of respect the kapchi when it comes to education. I don't know why, but I do. But you competed with so many people to be in the position you're in.
Yeah.
You deserve to be in a highly specialized and kind of selective environment, right?
Because that's the thing, like these students, all the students across Korea, those students that work hard, they want to be number one. The only reason why they do that because they want to go to the best universities, which is in Seoul.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And also, like, if you live outside of Seoul and then go to a doctor or you're looking for a doctor and someone say, oh, this doctor studied in Seoul University. Go to him, he's the best, you know, stuff like that.
And like, imagine just you studied your whole life so hard and out of like a million and you were chosen to be this doctor. And all of a sudden, it's not 1 out of a million anymore. It's 1 out of like 100,000. It's just kind of like, well, what the fuck did I do in my life?
Yeah.
Like, why are you making it so easy for these other people, right? And that goes back to like, it's almost similar to trying to get rid of 존댓말, like that whole respect culture in Korea. It's like, you can't. You just can't, you know? You need doctors to feel special because that's how there's a certain balance, right? You get the doctors feeling too superior, then it's kind of like, they just kind of brush you off, right? But you need them to feel special to a certain extent because then they actually try to do their jobs. Yeah. Right? It's like...
Then they just want to be the best.
Yeah. It's like, I can do this, you can't. That's why I'm here and you're on the other side. So you need to kind of listen to what I do. And you need that kind of gupje when it comes to doctors, I think.
But I mean, that sort of exists in the rest of the world as well. I mean, you walk into a doctor's room, you say, hi, doctor, you know? You don't
yeah,
say,
but like...
Yo, what's up, man? Check my back out, or, you know? What I mean?
It's different in America, man. In America, you don't... I mean, you respect doctors, but you don't respect them like you do in Korea. Something about doctors in America.
South Africa, in my family, we respect the doctors like that.
I mean, you don't shit on the doctors, but at the same time, well, we shit on the doctors outside of the clinic. You go outside, and it's like, this doctor was a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, anyone does that.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, when you go into the doctor's office, when he speaks, you shut the fuck up and you listen. Yeah. You don't try to tell him how to do his job or anything like that. Right. You know, there's a big respect for doctors as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting fact, the doctor that makes the most amount of money are number 1, plastic surgeons, and number 2, what do you call those skincare doctors? I forgot the term all of a sudden. Not pediatricians, they were children. Oh, dermatologists.
Dermatologists.
Yeah.
One of the women that did kickboxing with me in Chungju, she was a dermatologist.
They make so much money, bro. So much.
She told me something about, because I've got freckles, right?
Oh.
I remember the one that she told me, she said I need to go check out my freckles, just in case. I was like, oh, well, I've always had them. No. See, but she said, have you found new ones recently? It's like, yeah, actually I have. No. She's like, and then she told me, your freckles are predetermined. Like, it doesn't happen because of sun or anything like that. When you're an infant, they will be there. It's like predetermined. Okay. And I'm like, I'm not going to fucking argue with her. No. But I was like, what the fuck? But like for weeks, I kept on thinking like predetermined freckles. How the fuck? So
at a certain age, they decide to pop up because they're already determined. It's like your fate is sealed.
Yeah. Actually, I need to check that out because it still bugs me.
Oh. I mean, I've been getting a lot more like, you know, the black moles. I guess you call them moles. They're more dots, but I think the medical term are moles. You see these black dots over here?
Aren't moles the bigger ones?
They are, but I think these are considered moles too.
South Africa, we call them a musi.
We call them chom in Korea.
Chom? Yeah, like chom?
Dots.
Oh, dots,
we call them dots. Yeah. And I've been getting more of these. It's either I've been getting more as I get older or I've been noticing them more as I get older.
Well, predetermined.
Yeah, I guess. So these are the ones you're talking about then. These
Yeah.
chums.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of Koreans, if they get chums, I have like 4 or 5 on my face, and they go to the dermatologist, and they laser them off.
Yeah.
It just makes your face look cleaner, apparently. First of all, and like superstition is bad luck to have chum on your face.
I know if you have like big ugly ones.
Yeah.
Sure. Like you
but
know,
you can't remove those
Enrique
medically.
Iglesias had one, right? He removed his.
But some apparently you can't remove because it's like there's a bunch of nerve endings there that like fucks you up or something.
Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe if they're like cancerous ones, because I used to have a friend back in South Africa. He had a huge one on his back.
Yeah.
They had to cut it out.
Yeah.
Not like laser. They had to cut into his back. But when they cut it out, they saw cancerous. But then it already spread.
Yeah.
And yeah, 2 years later he died
Fuck.
from a mole.
Yeah, man, skin cancer is real.
Yeah.
Skin cancer is very real.
But back to the ones, I see like a couple of the kids in my classes that have not big ones, just like the small.
Yeah.
Tiny. They look cute, man.
Yeah. I saw one with a kind of a bigger one on the neck.
Okay.
Oh.
Not
kind
so
of
cute.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. But I mean, like the tiny ones, like
No.
fucking.
But you
It makes Korean people look unique, especially for Korean people. You know.
do other people not get that on their face?
What in the rest of the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. But
Okay.
everyone has them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you don't see it on Korean faces.
No, because they get rid of them.
Yeah, so if you see one on a Korean face, like, oh, I'll remember you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like,
But
guys,
you-
you look unique.
Yeah.
You're perfect the way you are. Don't get rid of it.
Yeah. But apparently it's bad luck. So,
Really?
oh. I remember my friend got like 20 removed from his face because it's like
Damn.
somebody told him, he's like, you want to get those because it's preventing you from making more money. But the funny thing is he got those dots removed and he started making a shit ton of money. Like a shit ton. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe I'm gonna start removing mine as well.
Maybe there's some facts to that. Who
Start
knows?
making some more money.
Yeah. Speaking of, I know we probably don't have, I'm not going to dive too deep into this, but fortune telling is huge in Korea.
Yeah.
Huge. And we're not talking about like your mystical ball fortune telling.
Cards.
There's tarot fortune telling. That's one of them. The other one is, this is a whole thing to get into, but there's a theory that these people that can tell your futures, they are imbued with a ghost. And depending on the type of ghost that you're imbued with, you can see different things. So like the most popular ones are like old grandma ghosts. Another one is like a child ghost. Another one is a soldier or a general from the past. Like those are the ghosts that inhabit your body and then they look into your future. So I visited one in America. It was super interesting.
Not in Korea.
I mean, I went to one in Korea too, but like it's not as, there's 2 different types. I don't want to go too much into this. It gets too crazy. But there was one in America where this type is the one that's inhabited by a ghost, right? When she's telling my fortune, the ghost enters her body. So it was super funny because this woman is like 70 years old, and then when she started telling my fortune, her voice turned into a baby voice.
What?
And like I'm sure it was part of a show too,
Yeah.
and like I get it,
Part of the act.
part of the act. But she's like, yeah, my ghost is a baby ghost, so whenever they enter my body, I just talk like this.
Did you
And it
keep a straight face?
Oh, it was because just a lot of the shit that she was saying. So how they start with in Korea is they start by matching things that you are thinking or things that you're dealing with, and that's how they hook you. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you look like you're dealing with this right now, and like some people are way off, but some people are just right on the dot.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like I was thinking about changing my jobs, and this woman walks in. I walk in, and this woman was like, "What are you thinking so much about? Why? What's your concern? You look like you're trying to move somewhere." And it's like, yeah, that's right. Okay, that's a
Keep
good
going.
start. That's a good start. Keep going. Let me hear more of what you got to say. So there's that one, and then the other one is like they ask you for your birthday, your name, the time you were born, and there's like a huge book, and everybody has a different fortune.
Like a horoscope, basically.
It's almost like a horoscope,
Yeah.
but it's a little bit different, but it's similar, different, but it's tailored toward everybody. Like horoscopes are more general.
Yeah.
If you're born in this month or this time period, you are this horoscope. This is tailored towards the exact time, the exact date, and the exact year, and then your name and how that all ties in. And like it's interesting to go, like, because what they do is they start by telling you a lot about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you sit there and just kind of like, yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, in the future, you're going to have this, and this. So just be on the lookout. And I don't know how I started getting into fortune telling, but yeah, super interesting.
Yeah.
If you have a
And pay me
chance.
my money.
Yeah. If you have a chance, visit. When you speak enough Korean, visit a fortune teller in Korea because it's a super interesting experience. Very interesting experience.
And you'll see them quite like there's a lot of places where you have them.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. But fortune telling, yeah. We went from hierarchy to fortune telling.
I wonder where they are on that list. Probably not.
You know
very
what's
high.
crazy? You ever watched the movie The King?
No.
Okay. Fortune telling is big in Korea. And I don't know how if it's true these days, but like politicians used to go to fortune tellers and being like, yo, like you need to tell me if I'm gonna win or not, like what
Yeah.
I need to do to win. And they would pay these fortune tellers an enormous amount of money. And just that's how it used to be. That's how deeply rooted into the culture it is.
And hopefully they were right.
And a lot of them ended up being right. If you ever get a chance, watch the movie The King.
The King.
Yeah, it's a Korean movie. It's about prosecutors who kind of play in the background and they kind of control the ropes. They control everybody.
Yeah.
And the way they do that is they have dirt on everybody.
Oh, okay.
And then they use this dirt at appropriate times to misdirect the public and cover up stories and shit like that. And a fortune teller comes out, and like for prosecutors, the next president is important because you're either gonna stay fired, you're gonna get fired, or keep your job.
Yeah.
So they go to this fortune teller, and he's like, "You need to tell me who's gonna be the next president."
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they pay him a lot of money, and the fortune teller's like dancing and trying to figure it out, and it's just funny. Yeah.
Is it a comedy?
No, it's not a comedy.
Yeah.
No, it's more of a serious kind of movie. It's a drama.
Yeah, it's hard for me to watch Korean comedies.
Korean comedy is it's this whole different thing, man.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. Because obviously there's a language difference and the translation and
It doesn't
match
no.
up. It doesn't add up.
It's like if you were to watch Daredevil. No, not Daredevil. Deadpool. If you watch Deadpool in the movie theaters, like I always crack up at parts and
Yeah.
everybody else is quiet.
Not even Deadpool, just normal Avenger movies,
Yeah.
like
You go in, it's like, oh shit, you're just laughing.
some parts are funny.
Yeah.
The Korean people
They just
sit
don't laugh. They sit
Yeah.
there, and I'm the only one laughing, and
Yeah.
everybody kind of looks at me weird. I'm like, motherfuckers, don't look at me. You don't understand what's
Yeah.
going on here. You
That
know?
was hilarious.
That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And like Deadpool was the biggest example of that.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
I was laughing the whole movie.
Yeah.
And the people were just staring at me like, why is this guy laughing? Like, is he crazy? You know?
Yeah.
But
And that's how you know you're the only foreigner in the place, or
Basically.
the only one who understands English,
yeah,
because you're the only
basically.
one laughing.
yeah. Everybody else is just reading the goddamn subtitles.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
But
that's why it's hard for me to watch like a Korean
Korean comedy is
comedies,
different. It's different, man.
and like the K dramas and shit like that. Like I used to watch them with my girlfriend, and then sometimes I would laugh at the subtitles because I say, "Oh, that was funny,"
Yeah.
but she's not laughing. It's like, "Oh, maybe it wasn't funny."
No.
It's
Yeah,
confusing.
subtitles don't it doesn't do it
No.
justice. No.
But Korean political movies, I think I've mentioned it before.
history movies you've mentioned.
Yeah, the political, like from after the war.
Yeah.
My God,
Super interesting.
dude,
bro.
those
Yeah.
are so good.
Super interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do yourselves a favor. Go.
Go to Netflix and watch them. There's a shit ton of them.
There's
and
a
they're
shit
very
ton on
good.
Netflix.
Yeah, and they're really good.
Yeah,
Oh.
they're really, really like. If you're not even, I watched the one.
Oh.
I think it was the one about the Gwangju uprising. I can't remember the name.
Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver.
Yeah, so there's
probably?
Taxi Driver, and then there's The Man Behind or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there?
We need to get into this. I actually want to talk about all
The
these movies in
history,
the next
yeah.
one.
Oppenheimer is out on Netflix, by the way.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I watched
it's
that
on
already.
Netflix. I watched it too, but
Yeah,
I love that movie.
I watched it at
bro.
cinemas.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
4D.
it was sick.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah,
But some people just didn't like. It was like, oh, it's too long, and it's like, motherfucker, this is history.
I
Like it's
enjoyed it.
history in the making.
Yeah.
Like there was no downtime.
It
in
was
that
great.
movie.
I watched it at cinemas and then I watched it again on Netflix.
Yeah.
It wasn't so great the second time.
Probably not.
First time was
Because you
so
know
much
what's
better.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the first time you're kind of like seeing this develop and seeing it
Yeah.
unfurl.
The
and,
second
like,
time I watched it, I understood more of what was
Yeah.
going on.
Oh.
Because it was like a tough one to. You can't play on your phone. That one.
No,
No.
but it's less that other movie. Like Christopher Nolan movies are all like that, but for the most part they're okay.
Yeah.
That one movie I still don't. Tenet.
Tenet. Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
bro! I don't know what the fuck is going
I
on in
still
that
need-
movie.
Yeah, I still need to figure that one out.
I want to watch it again, but I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know what's going on. I watched it once and I was like, "What just happened in this fucking movie?" Like I don't understand. Like
Yeah.
they're going in the past and like the past is the present and the future and like it's what the fuck.
That's one you don't watch a couple of times and
Oh,
figure that's
dude,
what else.
yeah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we
Right.
ended up just talking about hierarchy today. I think there's a lot more things that we can talk about afterwards, but I want to save that for the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But Korean hierarchy, be respectful to your bosses if you want to live in this country.
Yeah.
Learn the culture. Learn.
Try and get used to it. That's all we can say. Try and
Yeah.
get used to it. Like I've been here for 7 years, and it's hard for me if you see the way people treat other people.
Yeah. You end up getting used to it, and you end up expecting it too.
Fuck, I'm still not used to it.
Yeah,
man.
you get brainwashed into that whole thing. It happens. Yeah. But anyway,
Maybe it's easier for you because you're already half Korean.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even in America, I was doing it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching.
And you guess you.
All right, see you guys
Have
next
a nice
time.
weekend, guys.
Have a nice weekend.
Ciao, bye.
All right. So if you like this video, please click subscribe in the middle over here and check out our links below under the video.
And also make sure to click on the notification icon so that you can stay up to date with our future episodes. And be sure to leave some comments below and let us know what you would like us to discuss in future episodes.